Hello, happy Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me. This is going to be a client interview series with Karen. It is going to be live. If technology works in our favor, she's going to be popping on any second. If you're new joining me, I am a diet freedom and lifestyle transformation coach. So I help women stop dieting, gain confidence, and rediscover their true self. So I do work a little bit differently. I work from the inside. We deal with a lot of emotional work and dealing with our childhood thoughts and all of those things that come with that. So Karen is here. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. So if you would like to just take the floor, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and why you reached out to me when you did.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Stewart. I've known Mackenzie for quite a few years. But I recently reached out to her. I guess actually the first time was about a year ago when I first learned about her program. But then I I don't know if it's for me, if it's really something I want to do. Wasn't really sure what it was all about. But in the last year, I've been going through a lot of things with a recent move, being separated from my family and friends. Trying to get back into better health schedule and that sort of thing, fighting the dreaded being over 50 and menopause and dealing with the weight issues with that and the emotional issues that come along with it. So I finally reached out to Mackenzie again and said, hey, I think it's time, because I'm doing a lot of things of what I think is the right things to be doing for my health and my fitness, but just something isn't working and I'm not really sure what. So of course I thought, well, she's Mackenzie, look at her, she's amazing. And in my head I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna get involved with Mackenzie. She's gonna give me this diet and she's gonna tell me the exact strict routine of what to follow and what to do to get my act together, to get this weight loss off. And it was totally different than what I thought it was going to be in a good
Yeah.
way.
So it sounds like you had a lot going on. I love that you touched on being over 50. I think that I can speak for a lot of different women who are in my space that might be, almost turned away or shy to the opportunity at 50, because a lot of people think that, time is over. If I didn't learn it by now, I'm not going to learn it, or what's the sense of learning now? So
True. Yeah.
what was that like for you, making all of these changes when you did? Again, you were making so many different moves. Again, you said you were getting away, you were in a totally new house, you're moving away from friends and family. I know your daughter's away from you now.
hmm Yeah. I felt pretty lost and disconnected in a lot of ways from people, but then also suddenly I'm on my own, really. And who am I and what am I supposed to be doing with my life now all of a sudden? It's a different place to be in your life when all of a sudden you're not that needed mom anymore, and you're in a totally new environment where you have a few friends and a couple of really close friends, but not your secure circle of friends and coworkers that you're used to. So it's a huge
Yeah.
adjustment.
Especially when you are in that new space and you don't know anyone, it's hard to reach out, and it's especially difficult when you aren't even sure who you are as a person.
Right, right. And I mean, I think I can say for a lot of women, and women in particular, it's you develop a very close circle of friends. You might not have a huge circle, you have a small circle who you trust with everything. They know you, they know why you do the things you do, they know what you're thinking, you can trust them. Then when you go outside that, it's a totally different thing. You feel really, you're out there, and then you have to start trusting people and trusting yourself more to make decisions on your own. It's odd. It's different.
And that's something that age has absolutely nothing to do with, too. Everyone faces that at one point or another in their life. And a lot of the times you consistently face that time and time again, because you're constantly being exposed to new environments and new people. And if you're not sure of yourself and if you're not comfortable with yourself, with who you are, then that's just going to really affect the whole situation. And it's not going to allow you to be open and be vulnerable to create those new relationships.
That's definitely true. Yes.
Now we can change this over a little bit to more of the health side of things. I know that
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to really get healthy, make those changes. What are things that you have done previously in the past to try to reach this goal, or if you want to even speak on your goal, what was your goal in the past?
Well, and the goal in the past, it's always been, I want to lose weight. You know, I want to lose weight. I want to get in shape. And I've gone from one extreme to the other. I've gone to at the gym 6, 7 days a week. And then in the morning I'm running, or in the evening I'm running, or, you know, and then it's this diet, it's Weight Watchers, it's Shakeology, it's a few years ago, I did another one where it was, you know, a couple shakes a day and follow this strict meal plan. And it's great because you do lose the weight, but then your life comes back. You know, you can't stick to that. So then you get frustrated. Then you beat yourself down. Then you're sad and you're like, I'm such a loser. Why can't I stick to this? Why can't I look at this person here? You know, and you just judge yourself based on what everybody else is doing. Why can they make it work and I can't? Well, you know, and then through this program, of course, I learn, you know, first of all, everybody's different. Second, everybody's in a different stage of their life, you know, what they're capable in time wise or convenient wise, or where their responsibilities are or their priorities are. Everything shifts and you kind of have to go along with it. But I no longer, I guess my mentality has changed in that I don't look at, I want to lose 20 pounds, I don't, or whatever, however much weight you want to lose. It's all right. I just want to feel healthy and well and feel good about myself and be comfortable with myself, you know, and feel stronger. Yes. And hopefully, you know, honestly, I lose the weight, but I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm also got to be realistic. You know, I have a life outside of going to the gym 5 days a week if I want to do that, or sticking to this strict diet. So I'm afraid to go out to dinner with my friends and have a couple drinks. You know, it's crazy.
And those things are all things that you've picked up in the past and through your health journey. So right there alone, you've touched on going to the gym 6 to 7 days a week, having anxiety when you want to maybe go out to dinner and have drinks with your spouse or your friends. You're really sounding like you used to be stuck in that vicious cycle and you weren't able to get out of it because there would be days when you would be 100% on all of the time. And then life would creep in, life would happen, and then that would put you right back to square zero. And I also noticed that the language that you are using, how important is the language that you've seen that you were using with yourself, and now what are you doing differently?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, I'm not going to say I don't ever have negative days where I feel like, and I think everybody honestly does, you know, um, where I think, well, you know, I could have done better and what was I doing? But I don't, you know, I don't beat myself down anymore. You know, I'm more realistic. Yes, you know, I try to eat relatively healthy and stay active during, you know, as much as possible. But yeah, I'm still going to go out to have dinner with my friends. And my friend says, hey, you know, let's go out to dinner and have a couple drinks. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh God, you know, did I exercise enough this week to drink that margarita? You know, or am I going to feel terrible tomorrow for doing that? You know, I don't do that anymore. It's crazy. You know, I just,
So
you're
how
allowed to relax and have fun, you know. And just because you have that doesn't mean, you know, you have to pay for it later.
Right. So how freeing is having the ability to do that now? The ability to be able to go out with your friends and not have to worry about if you worked out hard enough today or what you're going to have to do tomorrow to play catch up.
Well, I guess to me, there isn't the guilt there. Guilt both ways, guilt for going and then, you know, or guilt for not going, you know, because there's times where I'll just be like, no, I'm just not going to go. I'm not, you know, I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. So I can't go today too. I can't do, or, you know, I already gone out and had dinner one day this week and drinks. I'm not going to do it another day. And then I would feel bad because I'm like, oh, that's just, you know, I could have gone and spent time. I should have done it. So I beat myself up either way. If I go, I feel guilty. If I don't go, I feel guilty. So now I'm to the mentality, I'm like, if I want to go, then I go. But then there's times I really don't feel like going because I'm tired or whatever reason, and I'll just say, no, I'm not going to go and not feel bad for it.
And so it sounds like now it's up to you. It's up to you with your energy and how you want to spend your day. And it's not up to your diet or following a plan.
Right.
It's truly up to just your feelings and whether, I do want to go or I don't want to go.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I know something that was very pivotal for you throughout Body Balance Revolution was your energy and protecting your boundaries. It was really about respecting your time and who you are saying yes to, what you're saying yes to, because I'll let you touch on it, but it sounded like you were giving a lot.
Yeah. I guess I didn't realize how much of I always think, I'm this tough person and, I can say no and I'm going to do whatever I want. But at the end of the day, I didn't realize how much of a people pleaser I really have been. Everybody else is going to come first, what they need or what's going to make them happy. And it doesn't matter at what cost it is to me. I will do it even if it's something I don't want to do. If I'm going to be unhappy, or if it's going to make me tired, or I'm not going to get to do something I want to do, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it if that other person is going to be happy. But the only thing that does, of course, is later on make you eventually be kind of resentful and unhappy. So I finally have just learned, through our get-togethers, the chats and stuff, it's okay to say no. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean that you don't care about someone or you don't love them. It just means you don't want to do that, or you have something else that's more of a priority for you at that moment, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I can speak for a lot of women, all of you watching. Thank you so much for commenting, saying hello, and supporting Karen. This is amazing. Your daughter is here.
Hi.
Man, I lost track of oh yeah. So women, we are constantly giving, right? So many women are always giving to someone else. We are just givers. That's who we are created to be. We want to make sure everyone else is happy before ourselves. And this can just really leave us feeling so distraught and tired. We already have so much on our plate, and we go far out of our way to make sure everyone else is pleased. But that's when we have to take a step back or a couple steps back and realize, what am I doing to fill my own cup up?
Right. Yeah.
We can kind of switch gears a little bit because I know you touched on it and I wanted to touch on it too, is our weekly calls. Can you explain what they are, describe them, what was great about them, how did you feel about them?
Oh, yeah. Well, the first one, of course, is always uncomfortable because you're not really sure what to expect. And you're kind of like, well, I don't know these women and I'm really kind of uncomfortable. And, but then after the first couple, you look forward to it because quickly you become friends in a funny kind of way, even though you hardly know these people. But it's because you're so comfortable being vulnerable with each other. And then you realize through that how much you do have in common. I mean, like me, who's 53, compared to, a 20-some-year-old who's a single parent. And it's just how much you can contribute and help each other. You can see each other's perspectives and realize that, even with the age difference and even with the different places you are in your life, how common a lot of the issues actually are. And then you can take off from it. I mean, we know Nicole, I think she's just amazing. And of course your sister Amber, I mean, I don't think they realize how much they inspire until they get into this sort of thing. And then hopefully they do realize that, that other people, the way you perceive yourself, sometimes you don't realize how much you inspire other people. So when you get that feedback, it really makes a difference.
Yeah, and It's amazing that you are all still connected. You have added
Mm-hmm.
each other on Facebook, and
Yeah.
that to me, as the coach and facilitator of all of this, that is an amazing feeling to have because that's what I'm creating is a community. And I want to also touch on the vulnerability aspect of it. It
Oh.
is scary and intimidating to come into this space, especially when you've never done anything like this before, and you're putting yourself on that spot.
Mm-hmm.
You're there asking for help, but once you are there and you're witnessing everyone else opening up, that opens the floor to you for you to do the same. And again, like you said, all of you are so much more alike than you know, and no one is really reluctant to share that. So being able to stay connected and be connected in that same atmosphere, you're able to actually go farther because you're
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by those like-minded people.
Right. And you're comfortable. You don't feel judged, it's everybody's sort of in the same situation in a sense.
Yeah, and a
And,
lot of
and that
those,
one call we had, and I'm still trying to remember what the journaling exercise where we just all, at the end of it, we were all sobbing, you know, after we all got back online, we're like, oh my gosh, what was that? What just happened? Because you don't realize how deep you get into when you're doing the journaling, and it makes you really stop and think about things. And it
yeah,
just can really, it's crazy.
the the exercise I believe was about the things that you've struggled with in the past and what that meant for you, what that felt like, and actually looking at it from a different perspective and looking back at it. And it's just that transformative piece
Mm-hmm.
where it just all comes together and you're actually able to see the whole picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of the calls, um, what happens on Sunday night? How do you feel after the calls? How does that make your week?
Um, I don't know. I guess, I mean, I've never been to a counselor, but it's what I would guess it almost feels like. I mean, because it's like you get this release of whatever is bothering you out during this session, or you learn how to get it out of your system by journaling and being able to really think through it and find a way to calmly work yourself through things. Because I learned that a lot too, to really stop, think about things and listen, don't just react. And it really helps tremendously.
Yeah, and I think there was one point that really helped at your career as well. There was a moment where it could have went a little bit differently if you haven't been exposed to the lessons inside Body Balance Revolution, but you chose to have a higher path because at the end of the day, it wasn't a reflection of you and you were able to just, walk away from it.
Oh yeah, I've been using that a lot. Well, in a lot of different ways. I still I still can get really upset, but I will stop if someone says or does something. I've learned more that it's not necessarily about me. It's about however either they're perceiving it or their reaction or whatever mood they're in. It doesn't mean and it doesn't mean I have to even react to it. And that's what I'm starting to do. I'm just like, I'll just stand there and be like, yeah, no, yeah, it's not worth my energy. I'm moving on, I'm not going to say there isn't times when I don't get upset, but usually now I can just kind of like, yeah, no, I'm not going to get into that. I'm done.
And that's
And be
something
okay with it.
that's something to speak to as well is when we get into this healthy lifestyle and this desire to get better and to improve, we expect changes overnight. We expect them to happen very quickly, and that's when the motivation is high. That's when we go from 0 to 100 and we expect that to be our new self, right? But we forget that it's taken us X amount of years to get to exactly where we are right now. So it's going to take a while for us to undo all of those wirings and all of
Mm-hmm.
those automatic responses that just happen immediately.
Yeah, and it's true. And that's part of those group chats that I kind of picked up from these other I call them girls, I'm sorry, but it's because I'm older. But you know, these young women with children and careers, and they get so overwhelmed, and I can feel the sadness from them, because it's like they feel so pressured to do everything, to like, okay, you know, and I've even heard it in some of my own circles. Well, it must be I'm not committed enough to my own fitness and stuff, because I'm not working out as often as I can. Well, they're not, because yeah, they're going to their children's activities, or they're doing something else, and then they feel guilty, and that merely makes me sad. And you know, and they just get down on themselves, and you just can't be doing that, you know. So then you reflect it back on yourself, and you know, am I doing that? I don't have children young enough that I do that with it, but I do it in other aspects. You know, I'm beating myself up. Well, how come I can't lose this 20 pounds that I seem to gain it overnight? Why can't I lose it overnight? Well, you know what? That's where you are in life. It'll eventually come off, but you just have to deal with it and do the best you can and not beat yourself up, and life happens.
Yeah. There are definitely just life factors in general that all come into play when we have these goals of maybe losing weight, and we have to take all of those things into different circumstances as well. Do you have that much time to dedicate going to the gym? Can you spend an hour or two on Sunday to meal prep your meals? You are capable of doing these things, but it's just a matter of, does that fit in your schedule right now, and are you willing to do that?
Right.
There is a question that came in, but I'm waiting for some clarification if Amy is still on.
Oh.
Maybe you know the answer. She wants to know what keeps you motivated physically. And I asked if that was in terms of exercise. I know in Body Balance Revolution, we focus on lifestyle changes. So things that you can do even in your house, going outside, doing yoga. These things aren't anything to spend hours at the gym with, because again, we have life. There are things that are going on in our lives, and we want to be enjoying them and not slaving away at the gym to an extent. So it's about finding things that are enjoyable to you and that are actually fun. So Karen, if you can speak to anything about that.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. What keeps me motivated is it makes me feel better. Like I get on my treadmill or whatever, and not everybody likes to run. Not, you know, everybody has whatever their interest is. But like I'll go to the gym where I'll take they're Tabata type classes. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with them, but I love it. It's high energy, but I don't necessarily want to do that every day. I have a treadmill. I love my treadmill. I love to get on in the evenings for an hour. That's my relaxation. And that's just, you know, that's as crazy as that sounds to me, that's relaxing. That's my time to just, that's my space, my quiet space. And I feel better after exercising. So that's my motivation. I've tried not to make it so much about losing weight like I used to be. Used to be years ago, it was losing weight. Now it helps me feel better. It's my release. It's my deep breath, and you know, it's refreshing to me.
Yeah, I love that. I love your response. That was wonderful. And Amy, I hope that answered you. But definitely, I love that you touched on that mindset piece. You know, a couple years ago, maybe you would have felt that you had to get on the treadmill every night, and maybe that was exhausting to you, just because you thought you were doing it to lose weight. And now that you've actually found enjoyment out of it and actually looked at the benefits far past any weight loss goals that you have, that's really just a tremendous transformation.
Right. Yeah.
My clock is not working. We got a couple minutes left before I do want to close out. If anyone does have any more questions, that was wonderful. Feel free to comment in. I love that this is interacting. You have a lot of people joining us.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Goals. Let's see. Is there anything? So you said at the beginning that Body Balance Revolution was something different than what you expected. How was it different than what you expected?
I expected that it was going to be, like I said, I thought I was going to join this, and you're going to like, okay, now this is the diet that we're going to follow, and this is how much you need to exercise every day, or your exercise schedule. These are the exercises you need to do. You know, that, like whatever you're always used to when you get into any kind of what you think is a diet thing. And well, that was the whole different thing. You know, the name of this is body balance, but you're not thinking it's a mind thing. You're thinking diet, exercise. I mean, we touch on that obviously, but it's really more of I would say you're more of a life coach. You help people figure out what works for them and how to deal with things, and it's a totally different approach, I think, than anything I've ever been experienced with.
Yeah, and the reason that I do it that way is because, you know, throughout my own journey, I've been there and I've also helped women lose weight. Women always want to lose weight. That's our societal belief. We've been
Mm-hmm.
brought into it. We think that we need to fit in a certain box. However, it's easy to follow something on a piece of paper that says, I'm going to eat X, Y, and Z. I'm going to go to the
Mm-hmm.
gym and do this exercise, and this exercise. But what happens when you're on vacation? What
Oh
happens
yeah.
what happens when there's a death in the family or a friendship that's not really doing good? What happens then? So that's why I've created all of these lessons and put them together, because it truly is the missing piece. And I know that you like when I say this, so everything you need is already inside of you.
That's right. I love that. That's my favorite thing now. And I think about that on all different levels too, whether it's, you know, fitness or your own mindset or things you're trying to figure out, you know, stop and take a deep breath and think about it. You know what you need to do to fix it, you know. You really do. You just have to listen to your instinct. And same thing with, I even hate saying diet, but what you eat. You know, your body knows what feels good to you. You know, if you overindulge in a bunch of junk, you're gonna feel like crap the next
Yeah,
day.
and you don't need a diet or something to tell
No.
you that, and especially
Right.
when that is outlined for you and you
Right.
fail, that
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel so much worse.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you get up the next day and you feel sluggish and you feel like yuck. Well, you know, what did you eat? What did you drink? It's not it's not a big science thing. It's listen to your body, listen.
And that's something that we've just gotten so far off of our own path, is because we are so readily available to anything. We want anything that's convenient and easy.
Mm-hmm.
And no one teaches us how to deal with our emotions. No one teaches
No,
us how to process that. And no one definitely teaches us how to love ourselves.
that's true. Yep. Yeah, we're all our own worst critics, definitely by far. Yeah.
And
Oh,
because
yeah.
I know there are quite a few of us joining, I just would also like to say, if you watch your language with yourself, and if you're saying something internally about yourself, ask yourself if you would say that to your best friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I stop and think about that, you know. And, you know, and I think about when you think about the people who you love or the people that you trust or the people you're close to, are you looking at them going, oh, geez, you know, are you worrying about how much they weigh? Are you worrying about, no, you're not, you know. So why are you judging yourself, who you are, based on what you see reflected in the mirror? That's just not even realistic, you know. It's sad.
Yeah, definitely. We do have a question. How, so when life gets to you, when you focus on everything else and the rest of the household, meals, all of these things, how do you continue without giving up? That's from Linda.
How do you continue without giving up? I think everybody has days where they feel like, you know, I don't think I can do this. But you have to remember tomorrow's another day. It's okay, you know, if there's a day when you feel like, I don't, you know, I'm just not motivated, I don't feel like doing it. You get up tomorrow and you start again. And it's okay to start again and over and over and over again, as many times as you need to, you know. just refocus and readjust.
Yes, that is a wonderful answer because your goals are never ending. Once you
Mm-mm.
achieve one goal, there's going to be another one. You're going to keep going no matter what. So making that consistent progress and those consistent steps, that's going to get you just so much closer to where you want to be in the long run. And it goes back to, I don't know if you've seen the meme online, but one salad isn't going to make you healthy, and one cheeseburger isn't going to make you fat. One
Right.
thing, one day, in the big picture, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So it's just about being that 1% better every single day.
Right. Yep. I agree.
Awesome. Well, we've hit our 30-minute mark, which is where I like to close things up so I'm not taking advantage of your time or anyone else's. I want to respect everyone's energy, as you know. So is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything, any input about Body Balance Revolution, your experience working with me?
Oh, it's been life-changing for me. It really has. It's been a great experience. Getting to know you better, getting to know the other girls, realizing that there's, there is a lot of support out there, and it comes through things like this, being open to listening to other suggestions, and I'm really glad I took part in it. I was really sad along with the other girls that in the February one when it ended. We were all like, "Oh no, now what are we going to do?" We don't have these weekly talks, but we stay in touch. So, but I would encourage anyone to do it, really. It's great. It's not like anything you've ever done. And even with the journaling, it just snowballs. You think you know something, and next thing you know, you just want to write. You just keep spilling all this stuff out and learning all this stuff. So yeah, I would encourage anyone to, if you're interested, to check it out.
Yes. Speaking of which, two things. There is a journal prompt inside my private community, Bringing You Balance. It's on Facebook. Every week on Thursday, I'm going to start putting a journal prompt out there. So there is one. It went out today. So make sure that you're popping in there and doing that. It's free coaching. Hop in there. There's over 140 women for you to support, encourage, ask questions. It is your safe place. And also, Body Balance Revolution does start in 10 days. Okay.
Yeah.
Karen, I think there's a little X on the corner if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right. She's going to pop off there. As I said, Body Balance Revolution does start in 10 days. So if this interests you, if anything resonated with you that Karen said, please reach out to me. If you have questions, let me know. She said it herself. It is not something that she ever experienced. Never. It was something a little bit different. It's not a diet. There's no calorie counting, no macro tracking. There is none of that. It's about turning inward and trusting yourself in rediscovering who you actually are and what makes you you. So thank you again so much for joining me. Let me know if you have